What do you think is the biggest biological flaw in humans? We are one of the few animals on the planet that do not make our own ascorbic acid, vitamin C. 99% mammalian life on this planet produces ascorbic acid in their livers. Humans do not. Vitamin C is extremely important for many of our bodily functions and we die if we don't get enough. Well, this is probably the most interesting thing on this thread, in the sense that it is actually something different from the norm and uncommon amongst mammals. Thank you, it's curious information. This deserves to be higher up than something saying oh we're tribal. All other animals all get along so well. Worst part is, as I understand it, we actually have the gene but it's been suppressed by an accumulation of mutations. So close. This has nothing to do with anything whatsoever, but fun fact, guinea pigs are in that group with us. They need an external source of vitamin C. We actually have the gene to make it. The only problem is that it's broken. This is one of the best examples showcasing evolution. The gene to create vitamin C is still in our genome, but is broken, a pseudogene that no longer expresses. When this mutation occurred, our diet was probably rich in dietary C, and thus there was no evolutionary pressure to weed out the harmful change. We're so close as well. We do everything all the other animals do to make it, except the last step that just doesn't work because one faulty gene. It's like we have a production line in our bodies, for making one of the most important things we need to exist, and the worker at the end of the line's just like nah. Knees. Too much use, bad. Too little, bad. Perfect use, crap still happens. Add the back to that. I didn't even mess mine up in a manly way, like squatting. Sat in an awkward position playing video games for like 8 hours in 2012. Hasn't been the same since. We need muscle on our shins and knees. And the funny bone. What the heck, body? That's just stupid. Knees really are a case of taking limbs designed for quadrupedal motion and just slapping them on a biped. Couple that with us living past 40 years old and you've got real issues. Compared to other land mammals, humans don't have that great of a sense of smell or hearing. If you believe in evolution, apparently our sinuses were used to elevate our sense of smell. Now they just get clogged and give us pain. Our hearing isn't that comparably bad. Our vision is way better than most mammals. We can run and swim long distances far more efficiently than quadrupeds, which at best specialize at one of those means. What? I can't hear you? But we're one of the best long-distance runners among mammals. I wonder what society would be like if we could smell like dogs. You would know where everyone had been and who they saw. There would be so many smell masking / removing / faking products. But we have great vision. Do we? Yes, in comparison to the vast majority of animals. Obviously a few beat us like birds of prey, but still. Some scientists think we stood up on an evolutionary level as to enhance this trait. We may owe our complex brains, in part, to the fact that we visualize problems. Interesting. I always thought dogs and most big cats are just best in vision. Are there specific aspects of vision where we score better? Dogs are colorblind. The way we evolved to walk upright is actually really poorly designed, and now we have back pain. I remember an episode of Law IU where he is dealing with back pain and a doctor says, "Nature gave us a clothesline and we're using it as a flagpole." With that, though, came the ability to look around, instead of at the ground right in front of us. NGT Cosmos has a pretty good segment on that. Probably how helpless newborn babies are. You see other mammals like deer walking almost immediately after being born. Human babies can't even crawl until after a period of time. That's a feature, not a bug. If our brains could develop to full adult capacity either very quickly after birth or reach full capacity while maintaining the same head size from birth, then no prob. The whole reason, by most experts, as to why we don't develop our cortex to its full capacity until 18 years after gestation is that our heads would be too big to pass through the birth canal. Ouch. I might add to this another flaw. We go through puberty, with its rush of unfamiliar hormones that produce radical changes and cause generally confusing times to most kids. We do this before we have impulse control and sound judgment development in the brain needed to navigate these changes. That seems like a very dumb order to put those in. We live on a planet whose surface is 71% water, and the oceans thereof hold 97% of all our water. And we can't breathe underwater? That said, most fish do not do it well either. They get to pick either fresh or salt water, not both. The number of species that can use both are extremely low. Inhale the earth juice. Our ancestors also had the option to stay in the water. Our cousins that did are the lungfish. Yay, but we can breathe oxygen, so that's pretty cool, I suppose, but I really want to be a mermaid. Our teeth aren't very durable. Our teeth don't regenerate like most everything else. That's a huge flaw. Also, we get one set that lasts 10 years and then another set to last the rest of our lives. I'm surprised the female body after birth acts like it wasn't meant to happen. I feel like the human body has adapted so much. I thought childbirth would have become less painful and I guess you could say damaging to the body. It's wild that about a third of women are actually traumatized by childbirth, but it's not really widely discussed, especially considering literally every human on Earth was given birth to by someone. Aging. There isn't actually a reason for us to die in the same way we have biological reasons for hitting puberty. All aging really boils down to is an accumulation of flaws and telomeres wearing down. It's a flaw made of smaller flaws. Came here to say this. Aging is an unexplainable flaw in the code. Aging is the evolution equivalent of deciding to buy a new car because fixing up the old one would cost too much. Not sure I agree that there's no reason. Aging is a flaw now, because we quite reasonably want to live as long as we can. And we may fix it someday, and that would be amazing. But if we're talking why we're this way in the first place, having space for change, and not wasting resources making something last forever when it's already fulfilled its purpose by making more count as reasons. There's some evidence that the human lifespan is what it is right now is because of grandparents. Older relatives help the kids survive by providing childcare and sharing wisdom. But the benefit is much less another generation out, so from a purely evolutionary perspective, we don't need to live much longer. Rather like planned obsolescence in phones, it's not so much a mistake as an optimization under different priorities than the average person. Our spines. It feels like we could have gotten it far better and not have things like back pain. Yet, our spine is a marvelous density structure that not only is the highway of our nervous system, but also the only part that supports our vertical posture. But yeah, it's quite fragile. To be fair, I feel like most back problems are due to the fact that we never take the time to strengthen the muscles properly. For example, equestrians that take the time to strengthen their core for their sport usually never have back problems because the muscles are strong enough to support most of the strain from daily life plus sport. A first good step is to stop relying on chair backs when sitting. You'll find yourself with much less back pains over time with just that. Not being able to unhinge our mouth like snakes. Some glitched people are able to do that. But it'll probably be patched in the next update. Actually, it's a myth that snakes can unhinge their jaws to accommodate prey. They have a connecting tendon which is capable of stretching to the necessary size. Still a total bummer that humans can't do that, though. Food pipe and breathing pipe are the same. They most certainly are not the same. You have an esophagus for food and trachea for air. Your trachea is open most of the time, but when you swallow your epiglottis closes and the food pipe is open. It's why you can't breathe when you swallow. Not true. Your throat is divided into two sections. The left side is your esophagus, food goes down there and into your stomach. The right side is your windpipe and that takes air into your lungs. There is a little flap, I forget what it's called, that prevents food from getting stuck in your windpipe, but it can still happen if you swallow something too fast. The word you're looking for is epiglottis. What did you just call me? Thank you for watching this video. If you want more Reddit content like this, please subscribe and like this video. I guess I will see you in the next one.